Tonight, college hoop fans nationwide, one of your holiday gifts is arriving a bit early. Florida, the reigning NCAA champions, led by Player of the Year candidate Joakim Noah and the entire starting squad of last year's championship team, travel to the unfriendly confines of Florida State for one of the most exciting intrastate matchups of the young season. The favored Gators are already feeling the pressure to repeat. The Florida State Seminoles, feeling their strongest team in years, is led by senior Al Thornton, the 6'7" veteran front court powerhouse. This is going to be a rim-rocking, courtside stomping, arena shaking, one heck of a madhouse. The NCAA champion Florida Gators at Florida State. Next on ACC Sunday Night Hoops.
Does not matter what the sport is, but when the Seminoles and the Gators get together, you can be guaranteed that there will be a full house on hand. That is the case tonight at the Donald L. Tucker Center in Tallahassee as the 4th-ranked Florida Gators get set to take on the Florida State Seminoles. The triple header of ACC Sunday Night Hoop continues from Tallahassee. Dave Neal alongside the coach Eddie Fogler. And Eddie, excited about this one tonight because it's a rivalry game, and we all know that they can get very intense and very competitive. But you think that this one means a little bit more than just a rivalry contest?
Well, it's a big game for both teams, Dave. Florida, who got rattled versus a pro-Kansas crowd in their loss to the Jayhawks, is playing its first true road game of the year. They've been blowing out people at home. Billy Donovan wants to see if they can play as well on the road.
Well, they will bring in a team that we're also familiar with that won the NCAA championship a year ago, including the two big men, Joakim Noah and Al Horford.
Well, Noah and Horford, the two best big men on one college basketball team in America, both run the court extremely well and both can finish with a force. These young men, Dave, combined for almost 300 rebounds last year and over 150 block shots. Both averaged in double figures, yet neither took 10 shots per game, and they also play very well with each other.
You look at their combined numbers, over 25 points a game, over 15 rebounds a contest. They are a matchup problem for just about anybody, and that'll be the case tonight for Florida State that uses a rather small lineup, but they do have one guy who knows how to put it in the basket, Mr. Al Thornton.
Well, Al Thornton is absolutely terrific. He's going to try to get Florida State their first marquee non-conference win this season. He is a thunder dunker. He's Leonard Hamilton's first recruit 5 years ago. This young man, Dave, lit up Boston College last year for 37 points and then followed that up with a 37-point, 15-rebound outing against Duke in Durham. There are a number of NBA scouts here today, not just to see Noah and Horford, they're also here to see Al Thornton as well.
Al Thornton's numbers just a touchdown from a year ago, but the All-American candidate hopes to put on a great show for the Florida State Seminole fans tonight here in Tallahassee. The triple header of ACC Sunday Night Hoops. We cap it off with the Seminoles and the Gators. It's coming your way. We are back in Tallahassee at the Florida State University as the 4th-ranked Gators get set to take on the Seminoles at the Donald L. Tucker Center, part of the Tallahassee-Leon County Civic Center. Florida State Seminoles being introduced in front of a capacity crowd. Let's take a look at those Seminoles that come in with a record of 4-2, having dropped their last 2 contests. They'll go with Al Thornton. We talked about him in the open. The guy can put it in the basket, 15 points a game, shooting 57% from the floor. In the middle, it'll be Uche Echefu, who has to have a big game against the Twin Towers of the Florida Gators. Also, Tony Douglas, 15 points a game. Leonard Hamilton, he is now in his 5th season as the head basketball coach in Tallahassee, 69-60, 19 years overall, 1 game under 500 in his collegiate coaching career. Now for the Florida Gators, coming in 7-1, their only loss coming to Kansas. Of course, 33 wins a season ago. A lineup that we're familiar with the exception of the man in the middle of your screen. Walter Hodge gets the start at guard. He started in the Gators' last outing due to an illness on the Gators starting lineup to Corey Brewer. We'll have more on that a little bit later. Billy Donovan, now, believe it or not, in his 11th season in Gainesville, he has won 233 basketball games, 13th year overall, 268 wins, 119 defeats. Well, Tom Block has more on this Gator program. Tom?
Well, Dave, Dave, you mentioned Walter Hodge. The reason that he's in the starting lineup is that Corey Brewer is not. He had flu-like symptoms, had 102 fever. They didn't know what it was. They tested him. Turns out that Brewer was diagnosed with mono. This came down on Tuesday. He's out at least 2 weeks. So with Brewer out, Walter Hodge gets the start. A little bit of a smaller lineup than what Billy Donovan has been able to run. But they expect to have him back, hope to have him back in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Tom. And Coach Vogler, obviously Florida goes a little bit smaller. What does that mean for this matchup tonight? Because the Seminoles are a rather small starting five to begin with.
Well, they can certainly match up better, perhaps, Dave, now that they're small. Let's not forget that Walter Hodge was a prominent player in last year's national championship team for them. It was 20 minutes a game. It gives Florida a little bit more ball handling, although they're not as good on the offensive boards without Brewer.
Gators win the opening tip wearing their road black uniforms trimmed in the Gator orange and blue. FSU with their home whites. Here's Torian Green. Pull-up jumper. Nothing but the bottom of the net. The Gators on the board 3-0 early. Pressure from Florida. The Seminoles get it inbounds.
In spite of Brewer being out, you would think the depth factor might affect Florida. They still come out pressing the error-prone Seminoles.
Here's Isaiah Swan, the junior out of Germantown, Maryland. Gives it up to Jason Rich. Bounce pass inside. It goes to Swan. Cross-court pass. The long three from Echefu off the back of the iron, but a foul against the Gators. Well, Coach, let's take a look at your game plan and analyze, break this down for us. What do the Seminoles have to do, and what do the Gators need to do?
Well, the Gators only had 9 assists, Dave, versus Kansas. An excellent passing team. That is uncharacteristically low for assists in a game for Florida. They need to make the extra pass, and Florida State turned the ball over way too much versus Wisconsin and Pittsburgh. A lot of those turnovers led to easy baskets, and Pittsburgh and Wisconsin combined for 55% from the field.
Thornton, that's a two-pointer, had a foot on the line, but he'll take it. 3-2 Gators.
Well, Thornton ball screens and flares out. Let's watch the matchup between Noah and Thornton. Could be a crucial part of this basketball game.
Here's Green getting a pick from Joakim Noah, but then a foul against Tony Douglas as Green went to the basket.
The drive out of control, though. Too early in the possession. Torian Green gets bailed out on the foul.
Free throws on the way for Green. Torian doing a nice job holding on to the basketball as the leader of this Florida offense. 27 assists, 11 turnovers on the air, 68% foul shooter. He's been to the line 25 times.
He's gotten better each and every year, Dave. Certainly one of the premier point guards in college basketball. Had 8 assists and only 1 turnover in the national championship game versus UCLA.
You'll take that assist to turnover. Even you would take that assist to turnover ratio.
Absolutely. 8-1. Well, that might be all right.
Here's Al Thornton. Just swinging around to Swan. Seminoles really need Isaiah Swan to have a good game tonight. Thornton, guarded by Joakim Noah. Pulls up just beyond the free throw line. That's another basket. Thornton 2 out of 2.
Well, Thornton couldn't do that when he first came to Florida State. A raw athlete, didn't shoot the ball very well. The stutter step, he goes left and knocks one in over Noah.
Here's Joakim Noah. Walter Hodge, the left-hander, off the window. Nice drive. Quickly back down the floor. Here's Swan. His pull-up 10-footer, too strong. Noah had a hand on it and finally rips it away from a Seminole. Green back to Humphrey. Swinging around to Hodge. Here's Richard.
This is a key matchup. Thornton at the top of the key. He stutter steps, he freezes Noah, and he's able to put it down one hard dribble. And look at the elevation as he squares his body for the jump shot. How about Noah getting a rebound, Dave, and busting out on the dribble at 6'11". Not many big people have those ball handling skills.
Torian Green with 27 on the shot clock will reset the Gator offense. Big screen by Noah. Green sees a little seam and picked up the basketball and traveled.
Well, that time Green got into the basket looking to pass first, which most point guards should do. At that point, however,
He had the layup and didn't take the shot.
7-4 Gators. The Seminoles have 4 points on 2 Thornton baskets. Tony Douglas trying to get in the scoring column as well. Got the nice roll.
Well, one of the best mid-range games in America. Tony Douglas has the ability to get into the lane and float shots up with a soft, feathery touch.
Humphrey, taken away. Here's Douglas on the run out. He will lay it up and in. Back-to-back baskets for Tony Douglas. Seminoles by 1. Humphrey, pull-up 3. Got it. Perfect for Lee Humphrey. Gators back out in front by a pair. Lee Humphrey on the season shooting 44% behind the arc. He hit 45% a year ago. Here's Rich back to Swan. Bounce pass. Inside goes to Etchefu. He's working on Richard. Tough shot. Goes down.
Excellent defense by Richard, but Etchefu's able to squeeze it through his arms and get it up, and it rattles home.
Etchefu at 6'9", 220. Tallest player on the floor for the Seminoles. Joakim Noah had trouble handling the basketball and then threw it away.
Florida ball screens as well as any team in America. The ball screen by Richard for Humphrey. Florida State late getting out, and Lee Humphrey automatic from 3.
Tied at 10, both teams 8 out of 10 combined from the floor. Pretty good start. Well, next week, ACC Sunday Night Hoops returns with the 23rd ranked Maryland Terrapins take on the Boston College Eagles in an early season showdown between division rivals. That coverage begins with the college basketball tip-off show at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, right here on FSN. Joakim Noah will take his first break of the evening. He's been bothered by an upper respiratory infection. Actually got back on the practice floor late this week. Not quite 100%. Seminoles, here's Thornton, taking it back out to Rich. And FSU will set up their offense.
Horford sitting out as well, Dave. Both big guys on the bench.
Swan hits the deck. So Chris Richard will man the interior for Florida. He's nowhere to be found, and that means that Jason Rich will take it to the basket.
Well, Jason Rich just abused Walter Hodge. There's where Florida could really use Corey Brewer defensively, a terrific athlete.
Dan Werner checks in for Florida, the 6'7" freshman out of New Jersey. He wears number 21 and has the basketball now. Around the perimeter to the sophomore Hodge. Hodge into the lane. Tough shot. Here comes Florida State, that up-tempo style they're trying to implement here in the 06-07 season. Thornton working on Richard. Tough shot, fall away, left it short. Hodge. Torian Green, stutter steps, blocked by Thornton. Torian Green wanted the goaltending, up ahead to Rich. Jason Rich, fall away from 10 feet off the back of the iron. And then a blockout foul against Werner.
Well, Al Thornton is a pogo stick off the floor. Not only does he get up high, he gets up quick. Very close call. Very close call.
They will change the foul to Uche Etchefu. That'll be his first. It looked like Dan Werner was going to be whistled for that foul, but after a discussion, they change it and put it on Etchefu, his first. 14-13 to go opening half, 2-point Seminole lead. Humphrey travels with the basketball. It'll be FSU ball. That is the 4th turnover for Florida. And for the Seminoles, they have yet to turn it over.
Well, that's great news for Florida State, who is an error-prone team, Dave. Florida is trying too early in the possession to dribble penetrate to the basket. That's where their turnovers are occurring. They need to move the ball 3 or 4 passes and then begin to penetrate the Florida State defense.
Florida, 19 assists a game, 13 turnovers a game. Completely the opposite for Florida State. 10.5 assists to 17.8 turnovers. Etchefu in the corner. Here's Douglas with 7 on the shot clock. If anybody can create their own shot, this man can. Lost his footing, and that'll be a Seminole turnover, their first of the game, with 13:38 to go in the opening half. When we were talking to Leonard Hamilton today about his team a little bit, and we were asking about this up-tempo style that he's trying to implement with this smaller group. You know, he says it's still a work in progress. It's going to be tough for his team to just change so quickly and become a different ball club.
Well, he had planned, obviously, Dave, to have Alexander Johnson, who left early for the NBA, and Diego Romero left as well, so they don't have a big body. They do not have a low post presence, which really affects his style of play, and they're still a work in progress, particularly offensively.
Mitchell just checks in, the freshman out of Mount Vernon, New York. He wears 23. Horford back on the floor as well. Joakim Noah set to check in for the Gators on the next whistle. Here's Horford, high post. Off the green, pull-up jumper. Off the iron, batted around, last touched by Florida State. It'll be Gator basketball. And here comes Joakim Noah, who took a 2-minute break. He has yet to get a shot off. Does have 1 rebound and 1 turnover.
Dave, Al Thornton has 1 foul. I'd look to go into Noah versus Thornton at the low post to see if I can pick up a 2nd foul.
Ralph Mims running the point now for Florida State. Etchefu gets it back to Thornton. Joakim Noah to the basket. And a foul against Florida. Thornton had ideas of slamming that one home. Well, instead, he'll have 2 free throws.
The first jumper he made now keeps Noah honest. A fake shot now. He made the last jump shot, and he just explodes to the basket.
That foul on Jonathan Mitchell, his first. Thornton to the free throw line. Al Thornton, 83% at the line this year. You know, it was amazing last year, and it's one of the aspects that you talk about a lot, and that is guys like him need to get to the free throw line. They shoot a very high percentage, and last year he did that with 164 trips to the line.
Well, in close games, Dave, it's also very important. They are going to go to him down the stretch of close games, and therefore he must be able to be a good free throw shooter. His improvement has just been dramatic from year to year here at Florida State in all aspects of his game.
Kicks it inside, and a foul against the Seminoles. That foul goes against Ralph Mims. That'll be his first. 12:33 to go opening half. Gators inbound it quickly. Humphrey in the corner. Gets it off the green. Dump it inside to Joakim Noah. He gets double teamed and loses the basketball. Hits the floor in the process. Strong to the basket off the window.
Wow, Rich reaches in, deflects, steals, and goes coast to coast for the easy basket.
Horford off to Humphrey. Dorian Green, nowhere to go, threw it away. Up ahead to Mims. The layup off the window is good. Welcome those of you that were watching Miami beat Georgia Tech 90-82. Welcome to Tallahassee, Florida. Somewhat of a surprise as Miami beats Tech, and we've got somewhat of a surprise here at the Donald L. Tucker Center in Tallahassee as the 4th-ranked Gators are struggling out of the gates against the Seminoles. Dave Neal, Eddie Fogler, and Tom Black. Tom Black, glad you could join us on ACC Sunday Night Hoops. This is a game that saw Florida jump out to an early lead, But since then, Florida State has been a team that has caused some turnovers, and the result is a 10-0 run over the last 4 minutes for the Seminole Club, and they lead it by 8.
Well, the error-prone Florida State basketball team has not turned it over, but they have turned over an excellent passing team in Florida for easy baskets. As it goes coast to coast, Jason Rich off of the deflection.
The Seminoles have had problems holding on to the basketball, but tonight it's been Florida. Torian Green knocks down the three-pointer. That'll be his second three of the evening. Here's Mim going baseline on Horford. Backing out to Thornton. Thornton knocks down his first 2 shots tonight to start this game. The All-American candidate. His confidence sky high.
Florida 2-3 zone game, trying to slow down Florida State, who's on a hard offensive pace.
Thornton pull-up jumper. Rebound to Chris Richard. Here come the Gators out on the run. And Lee Humphrey stepped on that sideline. That is 7 turnovers against the Florida Gators, a club that only averages 13 turnovers a game. Billy Donovan looking for some answers early here in Tallahassee. ACC Sunday Night Hoops is brought to you by Best Buy, helping you wrap up the wow this holiday season. Visit bestbuy.com for ideas and information. And by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Back inside the Donald L. Tucker Center here in Tallahassee, where the Seminoles, in front of a capacity crowd, lead 4th-ranked Florida 18-13. As we look at Al Thornton's numbers, let's check in with Tom Block. Tom?
Florida State, this is night and day compared to their last 2 games. They trailed 9-0 to Wisconsin before they got on the board, so a total turnaround there. And for Billy Donovan, he's concerned about the spacing Florida is getting offensively against FSU's defense. That was his emphasis in that last time out.
Yeah, it took 5 minutes against Wisconsin, Tom, for Florida State to put the ball in the basket. Never could regroup after that start. Different story tonight. Defense has been exceptional for the Seminoles in the early going here. Here's Rich. Mims around the perimeter. Thornton fires off the iron, no good. Rebound big time by Ryan Reed on the inside, but he travels with the basketball. Just the second turnover by Florida State. Leonard Hamilton, coach, told us his club has got to quit turning the basketball over, and he doesn't mind turnover, just the way they've been doing it.
Dave, unforced or forced turnovers. Sometimes you give the defense credit for creating a turnover. Many of Florida State's turnovers have been poor decisions by a Florida State player.
He was telling us they've had 2-on-1 fast breaks the last few games where they should have a basket. Instead, they give it right back to the opponent. Joakim Noah now off to Hodge. Lee Humphrey fires, top of the key. Left it short. Battles for the loose ball. Seminoles have it. Here's Allen. Bounce pass right side. Thornton. Walter Hodge got a hand on it. Last touch by Horford. It'll be Seminole basketball with 30 on the shot clock.
Nice decision, though, on the break. Comes to a jump stop, the drive by Thornton, and Florida comes up with a nice deflection. Good decision by the Seminoles on the fast break, however.
Once again, the Gators going without Corey Brewer, their all-SEC performer. As Breeden throws it away, Brewer is out with mononucleosis, will be out a couple of more weeks. He's actually traveling with the team, but cannot practice, and there he is on the bench. Certainly not having him makes a world of difference for this Florida team.
Well, best perimeter defender, best perimeter offensive rebounder, Dave, will play at the next level. A huge loss for Florida.
Horford inside, tough shot, got it to go down as he hit the deck.
Well, the touch that Horford shows, he has been Florida's best front court player so far this season.
Florida State, despite their smaller lineup, leading points in the paint, 8-4 against the Gators. Here's Breeden, around the perimeter it goes. Last touch by a Gator, 15 on the shot clock.
Horford able to back down, great footwork in the up and under, and he gets it up over Thornton. Nice touch.
Al Horford averaging over 13 points a game, 8 rebounds, and shooting an astonishing 60% 65% from the floor. But Florida only 2 field goals, Coach, in the last 7 minutes and 25 seconds.
They look shook, Dave. They look, something is, the road atmosphere here, the way Florida State has started, this does not have the look of a national championship team on the road right now.
Plenty of time to change all that. Out of the corner, Jarrell Allen misses. And the Seminoles will reset. Here's Thornton. Etchefu. Send it around to Jarrell Allen. Thornton beat at the right place at the right time. He gets it to go down. Seminoles lead by 8 again.
Jarrell Allen takes a poor shot, but Thornton in the right spot at the right time. And Noah didn't want to foul, gave up the layup.
Thornton with 8 points, 3 out of 6 from the floor. Thornton overplaying on Joakim Noah, hit the deck hard, he gets up. Hodge misses the 3-pointer, loose basketball, last touch by the Seminoles. It'll be Gator basketball.
Well, Jarrell Allen forces one up, and Thornton has inside position on Noah. Noah backs away, does not want to foul. Easy basket for Al Thornton. Dave, I've seen 3 or 4 players slip here tonight. I wonder if the floor, has some sort of perspiration on it.
Green out of the corner, his 3rd 3 of the evening. He's keeping the Gators in it, 23-18, 8:05 to go opening half. Swan dumps it inside. Here's Douglas, a little running one-hander, too strong. Horford pulls down the rebound. Noah, baseline, working on Thornton. Too strong, trying to draw the foul. Here's Swan. Inside, Etchefu is fouled. Torian Green will pick up that personal foul with 7:38 to go in the first half. If it wasn't for Torian Green, the Gators would be down by more than just 5. He's got 11 on 3 threes. Timeout on the floor. Back inside the Donald L. Tucker Center in Tallahassee, where the Seminoles lead Florida by 5. And the Seminoles last year, this is a club that went 20-10. They went 9-7 in the ACC, and you say, hey, they should have played in the NCAA tournament. Well, they didn't, and part of the reason is part of their strength of schedule last year. Not very tough. They changed things around this year. We talked to Coach Hamilton about that.
Obviously, we feel that we have an outstanding schedule, and it's one that's tremendously challenging, especially with the changes that we've had to make in our roster. So we feel very comfortable that this is the type of schedule that's going to better prepare us for the ACC.
Well, Dave, 9-7 in the league, finished 5th in the ACC last year, didn't get in, but they're non-conference RPI, no marquee wins. This year it is tougher, but they have lost at Wisconsin and at Pittsburgh. That makes this game huge for Florida State because it's a marquee team in Florida, and they may not have another NCAA tournament team left on their non-conference schedule, although this is a more difficult schedule.
Yeah, you could go schedule Kansas, UCLA, Ohio State, but if you don't win, it doesn't mean anything.
Well, he got beat badly in both those games. Certainly off to a great start here today. Much more focused, taking much better care of the basketball.
Seminoles off to a good start. They have not been a good first-half team this season, but tonight the story is different. They're shooting 52% from the floor, holding Florida to 46%. Florida's been one of the best shooting teams in the country the last couple of years. You see what Torian Green has done. He has been on a tear. Torian last year had 8 games of 20 or more points. Lee Humphrey will line up the 3. Got it. When he squares up to the basket, it is almost a certainty it's going through the bottom of the net. Here's Douglas. Swing it around to Breeden. Now Rich. The free throw line. Breeden from the baseline. Got it. Breeden, a sophomore out of Bennettsville, South Carolina, averaging 2 points a game with his first field goal.
Well, Leonard Hamilton thinks Breeden might be the most talented player on his team after Thornton. Inexperienced, small town in South Carolina, but a lot of upside.
Torian Green inside to Rich. The shot is blocked, but a foul Breeden got him across the arm, and Chris Richard will step to the free throw line for a pair.
Well, you got to love the leadership of Torian Green. He is not going to let the Gators down today. He's just taking it and dishing it for an easy basket or knocking down open threes, almost single-handedly keeping his team in this game so far in the first half.
Richard to the line, knocks down the first. Chris Richard, pretty good foul shooter, 71% this year, averaged about 6 points a game, 3.5 rebounds a year ago, and shot 70% from the line during that national championship run. Boy, he's a nice anchor to bring off the bench, isn't he?
Anchor, Dave, he would start for most college basketball teams in America. Would have led the nation in field goal percentage last year if he would have had enough attempts.
There aren't many teams that have two players like Joakim Noah and Al Horford throwing Chris Richard, and there isn't anybody that has three like the Gators. Now Mitchell rips down that rebound. Taken away, another errant pass. Rich kicks it to the corner. Mims fires. Got it. The three is good. 29.
Well, basketball's an easy game. Simple pass by Jason Rich to the open Mims. Another three for Florida State. Simple game. Florida State playing it easy.
Richard dumped down to Joakim Noah off the window. He follows up his own shot. It goes down, and for Joakim, his first basket tonight. It took almost 15 minutes.
Well, the second bounce, he misses a chippy, but he's back over the rim before anybody else leaves the floor for the tip in.
Whistle underneath, foul against Florida.
Jason Rich in the middle, under control, head up, reading the defense, finds the open Mims, who bangs home a big three for the Seminoles. Nice play by Jason Rich.
That foul went against the Gators' Jonathan Mitchell. Off the inbounds. Swan fires for three as he hits the floor. The Seminoles are lining it up from behind the arc.
Now Swan only 1 of 9 from three versus Pittsburgh and Wisconsin. A good three-point shooter, maybe breaking out of a slump.
Joakim Noah to the corner, and Hodge, he answers with a three.
Well, how many 6'11s, Dave, can penetrate from the high post and pitch it to a wide open man in the corner? Noah is a unbelievably skilled basketball player for his size.
Yeah, we don't have that in my church league.
I didn't have it when I coached.
Here's Al Thornton on the iron, rebound to Walter Hodge, who Billy Donovan told us has really matured into a solid player, got some quality minutes last year as a freshman, but has really made a big difference here in 2006 and 2007.
Well, Larry Shyatt told me yesterday most improved player over the summer on this Gator team is Walter Hodge.
Humphrey off the back of the iron, rebound pulled out there by Rich. By the way, just got word that the Florida Gators will be playing for a national championship on the gridiron. They have finished to the #2 spot behind Ohio State. We'll have more on that on the BCS Championship Special coming up right after our basketball game here in Tallahassee. So stick with us on FSN.
And let the controversy begin, Dave.
Thornton spins. Noah might have gotten him on the wrist, and then Thornton hits the deck hard. Those two are battling like this is for the national championship. Timeout on the floor. 3:54 to go in the opening half. Florida State off to a good start, but they can't shake the Gators. Back after this. 32-27, Florida State leading #4 Florida. ACC Sunday Night Hoops from Tallahassee. 3:54 to go in the opening half, and the Seminoles have had some issues with the basketball, but tonight Florida's having some issues. For more on that, let's check in with Tom Block.
Dave, this is not the normal crisp offense we see from the University of Florida. What an amazing statistic. Last year, they were one of only 2 teams in the entire country whose entire starting five, had a positive assist-to-turnover ratio. And that same deal is true again this year, even with Walter Hodge in the lineup for Billy Donovan in place of Corey Brewer, who's out with mono. But look at the numbers tonight, 4 assists and 9 turnovers. That is not Billy ball that we've come to see the last couple of years.
Yeah, Florida has had trouble tonight 9 turnovers, and Florida State has taken big-time advantage. 16 points. That's making them pay. Here's Horford. Warner checks in. He'll line up the 3 off the mark. Isaiah Swan pushes the tempo.
Dave, the other team with that 5 starters with more assistant turnovers was University of South Carolina Gamecocks and Dave Odom, who went on to win an NIT.
Long 3 from Etchefu was off the mark. Yeah, how about that? What does that say? The only 2 teams that have that in their lineup, better assisted turnovers, win championships.
Well, it shows you how important taking care of the basketball is.
Thornton with the block shot, roaming the lane. Rich, left-handed reverse layup goes down. The Seminoles lead is 7.
Well, Dan Warner, who originally committed to Herb Sindak at NC State, unable to guard Rich on the perimeter. Rich just explodes to the basket. No rotation by the Florida defense.
Green back to Noah. 2.5 to go opening half. And an offensive foul against Al Horford. Or they will call it against, yeah, it will go against Horford. That'll be his second.
Well, the over-the-top pass, and they get Horford for extending his arm. I didn't see it.
I mean, that's what you're taught to do, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you can extend it, Dave, but you cannot throw what's called a swim stroke and extend that arm. Questionable call. Referee right on it, though. Let him play.
Thank you. That's all I was saying. Double team. Thornton will swing it around to Douglas. Tony Douglas got off to a quick start, but he's been held in check here the last few minutes by the Gators. Here's Thornton working on Noah. Now Swan, shot clock under 10. Swan to the basket, tough shot. Off the iron, Torian Green picks up the rebound. Up ahead to Hodge, his layup, too strong. Tony Douglas will go back the other way. Rich will fire for 3. Thornton the rebound. The jam on the follow.
Florida State getting on the offensive boards. Long shots generally come off long, and Al Thornton using his quickness to anticipate a shot first of all and then get to the glass in the reverse dunk.
Thornton with 10 to lead Florida State. Green sees a seam off the window. Torian Green having a huge first half with 13 points. 30-second timeout taken by Florida State with 1:19 to go before halftime.
Al Thornton has great anticipation. He knows the ball's coming off weak side. He's there, and how about the athleticism? Most guys just go up and lay it in. He can go up and reverse dunk the basketball. A pogo stick off the floor. Al Thornton, incredible athlete, Dave Neal.
Leonard Hamilton's club last year held Joakim Noah to his lowest point total of the season, just 3 points. And a matter of fact, in 2 career games against the Seminoles, Joakim Noah averaging just 3.5 points, 1.5 rebounds. And tonight, Joakim Noah with just 2 points.
Dave, the flat ball screen, tough to guard. The defender guarding Noah doesn't know which way that Green's coming off, and Thornton is late, and Green's able to get to the basket. It's a different kind of screen that the defender doesn't know if the ball handler's coming left or right. He can go either way off the screen. Hard to guard. Getting a well-deserved rest, Al Thornton.
Has those 3 rebounds to go with those 10 points. With 1:15 to go, he might just sit out the rest of this first half. Thornton does have 1 foul. 5 team fouls against the Seminoles.
Excuse me, Dave. Here comes a flat ball screen as the clock runs down.
Douglas, pull up. That's a 2. In and out. Reed battling for the rebound, but he's whistled for the foul. He says he was held. But for Ryan Reed, that'll be his first. The 16, so Florida will inbound with 48.9 seconds to go.
Both Noah and Horford on the bench.
Another turnover by Florida, and then the Seminoles give it right back to Green. And then the shot is blocked, but goaltending against the Seminoles as Kassan Breeden, that 6'8" high flyer, was whistled for the goaltend.
Don't you love the competitiveness of Green? He loses the ball, steals it back, and Breeden comes and bats it as the ball's down over the cylinder. Goaltending. Florida State, Dave, can play for one shot. Florida has a foul to give. I would expect on the penetration with under 10 seconds, Florida would foul on the floor and make Florida State take the ball out of bounds.
Here's Douglas, gets a screen from Breeden to the basket. That's a tough shot, won't go down. Torian Green fires one at the horn, no good. Florida State with an excellent first half, shoot 48% from the floor. Only 3 turnovers in the first half from a club that came in averaging almost 18 a game. That's the good news. The bad news is the Gators, perhaps their worst first half of the year, and they're only down 5. Tom Block has Leonard Hamilton.
Coach, turnovers have been a problem for your club this year, but in the first half, just 3 turnovers. You have to be pleased with better decision-making and ball handling.
No doubt about that. We just got to get settled down and execute a little better, and we're doing that tonight. We just got another 20 minutes we got to go. This is a very good ball club, and they're going to make some adjustments at halftime as well.
Last year in Gainesville, you guys had a 17-point lead on Florida at one point and couldn't finish the deal. What will it take tonight to close the deal?
Well, we just got to play a complete game of basketball. This is a very good basketball team. We got to keep defending. We're not finding those shooters in the corner. We got to do a better job in the second half, and we got to keep executing on the offensive end.
All right, good luck in the second half. Dave?
Thank you, Tom. It was 21-4 last year down in Gainesville. The Seminoles led, and then Florida went on a tear to capture that victory. But the Gators' last visit to Tallahassee in January of 2005, they were knocked off by this Seminole club. What will happen? We will find out. It's halftime in Tallahassee. The Seminoles lead the Gators by 5. Moments away from second half basketball here in Tallahassee, where the Seminoles lead 36-31. Our own Tom Block had a chance to catch up with the Gator head coach, Billy Donovan.
Billy, the numbers in terms of turnovers and assists they're very atypical for your club. How do you turn that around?
Well, I think it's one of the big keys when you play on the road. You got to be able to take care of the ball. We didn't take care of the ball well enough in the first half. Really actually led to a lot of easy baskets for FSU, but I thought our half-court defense was pretty good. I thought we got pretty good shots in the first half. I just thought our turnovers allowed them to get a lot more easy baskets than we had.
Al Thornton has 10, but really they've gotten a team effort from their whole squad in terms of chipping in with points. What concerns you most in the second half, Pat? Who you have to take away there?
They're obviously a good team. I think they've got a lot of key players that can score. Jason Rich can score. Thornton can score. You know, Isaiah Swan can score. Uche can score. They got a lot of guys that can score. So, you know, I think it's a team game. The same thing with our team. You got to play collectively as a group, and they've played and shot the ball pretty well in the first half, so give them credit.
All right, best of luck in the second half.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. And obviously the turnovers were the biggest disappointment for Billy Donovan in that first half. A complete role reversal from these two clubs. You heard what Coach Donovan just said. It almost looked like the Gators were a little bit out of sync. And is that because of Corey Brewer not being in this game? I know he didn't play in their previous game, but that was against Southern. This is a different monster.
Well, partly Corey Brewer, partly the road environment, Dave. You look at the stats, I think Florida has to be happy only to be down 5 points as poorly as they played offensively particularly.
Yeah, well, Torian Green, though, a big reason why the Gators are still in this game with 15 points. He has 8 career games over 20 points, 5 of 8 from the floor. He knocks down 3 three-pointers. Florida shot the basketball pretty well, almost 50% in the first half. Florida State at 47%. So it's not a matter of shooting the basketball for Florida. It's just a matter of holding on to it.
Well, and only 1 bench point for Florida. It'll be interesting to see if the people off the bench can give it a little bit more productivity on the offensive end.
Florida State gets the ball to start the second half. Here's Tony Douglas. Off to Thornton. Thornton has played hard from the opening tip tonight. Now Horford guarding Thornton. Baseline. Tough shot. Took it right to the meat of that Gator defense.
Well, the stutter step and explodes to the basket. Another unforced turnover by Florida.
Here's Thornton. Had it slapped out of his hands by Walter Hodge. Now Thornton. Now with a dozen points in.
Well, you can see Tony Douglas penetrating and Thornton explodes, stop and go, and boom, right by Horford. The help is late coming across the lane.
Off the inbounds pass. The Seminoles get it inside. Etchefu having a tough time on the perimeter, but now a tie up in the paint. Horford on the ground calling for a timeout, and he'll get it. Timeout by Florida. It'll be a 30-second timeout turned into a full timeout. But Florida State here at home lead 38-31. It's getting physical in these rivalry games. ACC Sunday Night Hoops is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Beautiful night in Tallahassee, Florida, the capital of the Sunshine State. The Seminoles leading Florida 38-31, 58th meeting between these two clubs, a series in which Florida leads 38-19. They have won 7 of the last 8. However, the last time the Gators visited the Donald L. Tucker Center in 2005, they went down 82-69 to the Seminole team. Pressure from Florida State. Hodge lost the handle. And the Seminoles will come up with the loose basketball. That is now 8 steals for FSU in this game.
Spread offense by Florida State, posting up different people. Again, this is a team with no inside presence. They post up their guards this year, not their big people.
Thornton underneath, drag that back foot. Traveling violation. That will give it back to the Gators. Good call by Gary Maxwell, right on top of it. Here's Noah, 25 feet from the basket, off to Lee Humphrey. He has a couple of threes in this one tonight. Joakim Noah, ball fake, kicking around to Hodge. Rich guarding him. Hodge to the basket, a foul on the inside against the Seminoles. No shot, it was away from the shooter. It'll go. Uche Etchefu will pick up that foul. And they will say 2 shots, so it was on Hodge.
Had him stepping in late, blocking call on Etchefu. Florida State, excellent pressure defense. Denying one pass away, making it hard for Florida to run its offense, creating Florida having to drive the ball to the basket. And unfortunately for the Gators, sometimes they have been out of control, resulting in turnovers.
How about the run by Florida to open up last season? They won 17 straight games to start the year. We happened to be there when they were knocked off by Tennessee in Knoxville. You and I were doing that game when a full house on hand. Bruce Pearl, probably the game that sent them over the top and into the NCAA tournament. But what a run for the Florida Gators.
And then they wound up losing 6 games in the conference, Dave, but then go on to win the national championship.
And had won 17 straight again until their loss to Kansas last week. 5 on the shot clock. Douglas. He can create his shot.
He can get into the lane and make those what I call very tough shots. I'd much rather shoot it from 20 feet than from 12 feet over somebody.
Green just lost the handle. Loose ball on the floor. Here's Noah with the jam. Just the second basket of the evening for Joakim Noah. He's got 4. Here's Swan, guarded by Green. Swan, double clutch, jump shot, nothing but net.
Well, that's where Leonard Hamilton goes, what are you doing? Way to hit. He took the challenge, actually wanted to show Green he could play. Bad shot that goes in the basket.
Isaiah Swan with 5 tonight after a 1-for-9 performance against Wisconsin last week. That foul will go against Al Thornton. That'll be his second.
Well, Isaiah Swan decides to take Torian Green one-on-one and has to double clutch it as Green gets his hand in there. Almost deflects the ball to some degree, and Swan's able to regather, and knocked down a shot. Very tough shot.
Green back to Horford. Horford bounce pass inside now to Joakim Noah. Noah. Fouled from behind. That'll go against Uche Echefu.
That's why they're so tough to guard. The bounce pass from post to post. The pump fake to freeze a defender, and Noah gets to the line. But how many 6'8", 6'9" centers can make the bounce pass, feeding pass to their teammate at the low post? I've seen a lot of college stat sheets in my day as a head coach for 15 years and an assistant coach for 15 years. I don't know if I've ever seen a team that had two bigs like Noah and Horford with more assists than turnovers. What a luxury as a head coach. No disrespect to big players. I used to say they're generally an accident waiting to happen when they have the basketball in their hands.
What do you mean, no disrespect?
Well, they're bigger than I am, but I used to tell my big guys, no assists, no turnovers, you'll make me a happy coach. Don't try to do something, you're not capable of doing. Block shots, rebounds, score in the post.
Joakim Noah taking a break, and you didn't catch it early on. Joakim's been bothered by an upper respiratory infection that has limited his practice time this week. He did get on the floor the last couple of days for Florida, but he is not 100%. Corey Brewer, the starting 6'9" junior swing player, if you will, out for a couple of weeks with mononucleosis. Douglas around to Thornton. He'll line up the three. Got it. With 7 on the shot clock. 45-37, Florida State.
Well, he knocks down threes. He pull-ups mid-range. He takes the ball to the hole and dunks. How do you guard Al Thornton?
Humphrey off to Horford. Back to Humphrey. He fires off the mark. Never got squared up, but Richards squaring up and blowing up in the paint. He's fouled.
Well, Chris Richards just abusing Florida State on the offensive board, and Al Thornton spotting up versus the zone and bangs home a big three for the Seminoles.
Back inside the Donald L. Tucker Center here in Tallahassee, where the Seminoles, with an impressive display to this point, and they've done a nice job on the Florida bigs inside. Here's one of those bigs, Al Horford, getting his only basket.
Well, only 4 points and 3 rebounds combined at half for Noah and Horford. Much of the credit, Dave, has to go to the Florida State defense, who is putting great pressure on the passers on the perimeter. Making it difficult to get the ball inside, and then secondly, when it goes in, the athletic Florida State people are converging on the low post. Frustrating Horford and Noah here so far tonight.
Chris Richard has done a nice job, and he will step to the line. He's played some important minutes tonight as Joakim Noah, not 100%. I just think it's so impressive to be able to go to the bench and pull up a Chris Richard at 6'9", 255 pounds, and a senior, a guy who's been around the block a time or two.
Well, I don't know of another college basketball team whose third post player is as good as Chris Richard. Again, would start for most college basketball teams.
Swan left it short, and a whistle as he goes flying into that Seminole bench. I think Horford might have gotten a hip on him after the shot was put up in the air. That'll be the third on Horford.
Well, a bad foul by Horford. He fouls the outside shooter, which you never want to do, and picks up his third foul as well.
Joakim Noah about to check back into the game for the Gators as Swan steps to the free throw line. Isaiah knocks that down. He's just 6 out of 10 before that one coming into tonight's game.
But one of the problems Florida State has had is when Swan and Rich, have not played well together. One has played well when the other one has struggled. There's been no complementary offense for Douglas and Thornton. Tonight, both are on top of their game.
Douglas will take a seat. Ralph Mims on the floor. And Joakim Joakim Noah does check in for Al Horford. So Swan knocks down the free throws, the junior out of Germantown, Maryland. Gives Florida State a 10-point lead. Here's Lee Humphrey. Humphrey had a couple of threes in the first half. This lead, by the way, of 10 is the biggest of the game for the Seminoles. Torian Green to the basket, can't get it to go down. He got right to the iron and couldn't get it through the cylinder. Here's Mims back to Thornton. Good screen from Reed. Rich, fall away, running shot. It's been that kind of night, folks, for the Seminoles here in Tallahassee.
Green misses a dead layup. And on the other end, the Seminoles make a tough running, actually bad shot for a basket. And an illegal screen now called on Florida. And the crowd is really into it here in Tallahassee. Green misses a point-blank layup, and Jason Rich goes running out of control and gathers himself for a very difficult basket.
12-point game. I will say this about Florida. They have already this year posted runs of 10 or more points 16 times this season. They can explode on you in a matter of 2 minutes. And we've got 14 left of this one. Rich spins inside, double clutch, air ball. Here's Green. Florida on the run. This time Torian Green knocks it down 17 for the junior. We heard Billy Donovan tell Tom Block in the first half he was not disappointed with his team's shot selection. They just couldn't hold on to the basketball, and I think we've seen that again here in the second half.
Posting up Rich. Again, no low post present. They're posting up their guards. Offensive foul on Rich with the hook on the spin lead to the basket.
That will be his first, and that will give it back to the Gators.
Dave, turnovers are obviously bad, but what people don't maybe not understand is it's 2 points you might have gotten if you got a good shot. Not only do you don't get 2, but you give up 2. It's a 4-point potential swing when you turn the ball over.
So Florida State had 16 points off turnovers at the break. It could have been as much as a 32-point swing. Could have been. You never know. Here's Humphrey. Horford backing up Thornton. Kicks it out. Torian Green in the paint. Tough shot. Won't go. Horford, big rebound. And a foul. But he traveled with the basketball. The Seminoles will have it.
Billy Donovan very, very upset on the penetration by Florida. Thought there was a foul here on Green. No call. Horford just goes right over the top of Thornton and gets called for the walk before he dunks the basketball. Billy Donovan very upset at the no call.
15 turnovers for Florida tonight. Only 6 for the Seminoles. And now a foul on Walter Hodge. That will be his first. Only the 3rd team foul against the Gators in the second half. What does Florida need to do offensively down 10?
Florida needs, Dave, to hit some threes, which they're capable of. I would look for Lee Humphrey maybe to try to get him some open looks. They really got to do it off the defensive end as much to get good offensive opportunities. They're not getting any easy baskets.
Humphrey stumbles. Wide open shot for Mims, won't go down. Horford the rebound, off to Torian Green. Green kicks it out. Now to Horford. There's a 3 from Green, no good. Long rebound into the hands of Mims. Up ahead to Rich. Thornton to Allen. Back to Thornton. At the elbow, pull-up jumper, won't go down. Reed working hard, gets the offensive rebound. Put back, no good. Thornton now will try. 3 cracks at it, and he's fouled. You can count the basket.
Well, he's just a young man who is relentless on the offensive board, but give Ryan Reed most of the credit for keeping the ball alive. Reed inside, powers it up, and Thornton gets inside position and scores and gets fouled. The quickness off the floor, the pump fake to freeze the defender, and the explosion back up for the basket.
Al Thornton came into this game with 17 offensive rebounds, 2 more than his defensive rebound total.
Dave, he hardly comes out of the game. Another great thing about Al Thornton is he can go all day. Some guys tire easy, some guys can go. He's a young man who's in great condition and can go.
He just told the FSU coaching staff that he's got kind of a leg problem. He keeps holding his, maybe a cramp issue as he comes off the floor. Now he points to his hamstring.
Well, we've got a timeout coming here at the next dead ball, so it's a good time for him to go out, maybe get a little extra rest.
FSU on an 8-2 run over the last 2.5 minutes. Warner, bounce pass, sails through the middle of that paint and out of bounds. It'll be Florida State basketball. When we come back, they're going crazy in a packed Donald L. Tucker Center. Florida State just missed out on the NCAA tournament last year despite going 9-7 in ACC competition. Al Thornton, the senior, came back. He now hopes to take the team to that big dance.
I always say that's been a lifelong dream. It's something I've been wanting to accomplish. I want to accomplish since I've been growing up. But in my last year of school, you know what I'm saying, I'm a senior. I'm mature, and the things I've been hearing from my friends, you know, cousins that went to the NCAA tournament, it's a great experience.
Doing a nice job tonight with 18 points. Tom Block has more on some potential issues with Mr. Thornton. Tom?
Well, Dave, they spent the entire timeout working on Al Thornton's leg. He appears to be okay, but cramps is the problem. But you're not going to keep Thornton out of finishing this game. But they did devote the entire break to try and get him ready to go back into the game.
18 points, 7 out of 13 from the floor. In 6 games, he has only shot below 50% from the field once.
Well, when you get those dunks and those follow offensive rebound, Dave, it does wonders for your field goal percentage. How about being down 13 points with 11:30 to go at a timeout, and Billy Donovan comes out without Noah, without Horford, without Richard, and 3 true freshmen in the game, perhaps sending a message to his veterans that they're not playing well enough to be on the court at this time.
Maurice Spates, the 6'10 freshman out of St. Petersburg, Florida, getting some action down on that low post. He wears number 34. A big boy, 6'10", 245, working on Reed. Another freshman. And right away, that pays dividends.
Interesting. Ball goes in very easy to Spates. On the ball, excellent ball reversal. Nice pass by Lee Humphrey. Here's a young man highly recruited from Florida. Went to prep school out of state. A lot of upside. The Florida coaching staff very high on the potential of Spates.
How about Spates working on Reed? A couple of freshmen. Reed out of Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. He goes 6'8", 232. Walter Hodge back in. Lee Humphrey takes a seat for a moment. But Spates, he actually led the team against Southern in the Gators' last outing with a nice double-double, 12 points, 12 rebounds.
Nice looking form on his free throw. We got an all-freshman front court for Florida on the court.
Jonathan Mitchell, 6'7". Dan Warner, 6'7". Joins Spates at 6'10" for the Gators.
And Florida goes zone with the inexperienced front court.
Here's Allen, back to Douglas. He will pull up from 3, in and out, no good. Followed by Allen goes down.
Well, the defense gets its job done, but one of the things at the conclusion of a defensive possession is getting the rebound. Florida unable to finish the possession off, and Florida State scores.
Warner hands it off to Mitchell. Biggest lead of the game right now, 14 points. And the Seminoles, a much smaller club, out-rebounding Florida by 2. Here's Warner, bounce pass on the low block to Spates. Follows, gets it to go down.
Nice penetration, freshman to freshman, and Spates very active on the boards.
Swan lost the handle, but fell right to Thornton. Back to Douglas. Here's Allen. He will line it up. Off the back of the iron. And Warner just completely lost sight of the basketball. Didn't know where the rebound went. And thus fouls on the loose ball.
Well, Warner penetrates. Nice dribble penetration. Bounce pass, feeding pass. And what I love about Spates is the third quick bounce off the floor. You cannot teach that as a coach. You recruit that kind of athleticism.
Spates with 2 double-doubles in his young Florida career.
Went and looked at Thornton. He didn't care about where the rebound was going.
This is Warner's first introduction to the Seminole Gator rivalry. As a freshman out of Middleton, New Jersey. Bounce pass inside, loose ball. Warner comes away with it. Knocked away right to Spates, who travels.
That drives coaches nuts. A big man, 6'10", catching it in transition, trying to think about too many things except possession of the basketball. Come to a jump stop and put the ball in a guard's hands.
9:42 to go, 55-43. Florida State trailed early, but then went on a nice run, and they have led for the better part of this game.
And Dave, we have 4 freshmen now on the court for the University of Florida.
The follow by Thornton won't go down. Swan, long 3, in and out. Spates tracks it down, off to Hodge. So how about this lineup of 4 freshmen and a sophomore on the floor for Billy Donovan right now. Hodge is the veteran. Off to Warner, his pass knocked away. Allen will come up with the steal, and that'll be number 9 for the Seminoles. They average 8 per game. Swan thinking 3 down to the basket. Douglas, he thought 3. Swan this time will take it. Got it. 15-point lead, biggest of the night for the Seminoles, and the roof is being raised off the Donald L. Tucker Center here in Tallahassee. Spates answers back.
With a lefty jump hook, I might add. Watch out in the future.
That was a nice move, going to the left hand from the right-hander. Swan will try it again. Last touch by the Seminoles. It will be Gator basketball.
And the starting backcourt, Dave, back in Green and Humphrey, but we see no signs of Horford and Noah. Still going with the freshman, Coach Donovan is.
Torian Green with 17 tonight. He's 6 out of 12 from the floor, 3 out of 5 from behind the arc with a couple of rebounds and 2 assists. Trying to add to that total, he does.
And Florida needs a couple of steals. If they can turn the Seminoles over, spot up for a couple of threes. They are pressing. They're only down 11 points, 8 minutes to go. This game is far from over.
Mims, bounce pass inside. And a foul underneath. Thornton hit the deck hard. The Seminoles are loving it here in Tallahassee. They lead the defending national champs. Sights and sounds on ACC Sunday Night Hoops right here on FSN HD. We're in Tallahassee, Florida. Dave Neal, Eddie Fogler, and Tom Block. Glad you could join us. It's one of those rivalry games that you just don't know what's going to happen. You can always predict a favorite, but anything is Liable to happen. Just ask Southern California on the football field yesterday.
How about that? What a day in football yesterday.
The Florida Gator football team wins the SEC championship, and all their concerns were answered earlier tonight. They will play in the BCS championship game on January 8th. We'll have more on that right here on FSN on our BCS championship show coming up right after this contest, so please stay with us on FSN. Right now, Florida State leading Florida 58-47. That's the good news for Florida State. The bad news is I don't think we've seen that final push from Florida yet.
Well, they're going to have to get a final push, Dave. I haven't seen it in their eyes, though. We'll see if they can come up with some steals and some quick baskets. Horford and Noah back in the game after sitting out 4 minutes.
Dorian Green will dump it down to Noah with the jam. That's Florida basketball at its finest.
Well, the ball screened by Noah. The help steps out, and he rolls to the basket. Nice play by Dorian Green.
And then Hodge knocks it out of bounds. It'll still be Seminole basketball.
Noah sets the screen. The help by Thornton. He rolls to the basket for the easy dunk. Give Dorian Green credit for the basket, however.
Dorian Green tonight with his 3rd assist. Joakim Noah, 8 points, couple of rebounds. It's been a quiet night for the 6'11 junior out of New York. Bothered by that upper respiratory infection. You see him still continuing to cough. It has been a struggle for him to catch his breath when he has to work on both ends of the floor tonight.
Didn't practice that much this week, Dave. In fact, sat out a couple of days, I believe. And I think coming in here, probably on Friday, they were unsure whether he'd even play.
Gary Maxwell went over to make sure the clock was situated properly. 25 seconds on the shot clock. We go just under 7 minutes in this contest. Here's Thornton. Right where the Gators want him, about 35 feet from the basket. Now he posts up Joakim Noah, 12 feet from the hoop. Once again, Thornton slips on that baseline. Loose ball. Thornton's going to have to do something with it, and now a foul against Joakim Noah with 2 on the shot clock.
Well, Noah, to me, is obviously frustrated. He does a great job sliding his feet, keeping Thornton in front. The clock is running down, and makes a silly foul, trying too hard to go after the basketball. Never had a chance to get that ball.
Florida State has done a nice job tonight, I think, with the tempo. They've really dictated this tempo. But I really think, as I've watched this game unfold, that this would be a classic game for a guy like Corey Brewer, who is sitting out with mononucleosis, sitting on that Gator bench tonight. But this is his kind of game.
Well, it is his kind of game. Up-tempo. He's excellent at stealing the basketball, Dave. Might have gotten transition baskets, easy baskets for Florida. They missed his offensive rebounding, a terrific offensive rebounder, a young man who will play at the next level. Obviously has hurt Florida, but that's part of the game, injuries and illness. And this team is still a deep team, has just not played particularly well here. But give Florida State credit.
The Gators going with their starting 5 here in the second half. The Gators starters are 2 out of 7 from the floor. How about the... They went 2 out of 7 to start the second half. They've now gone 5 out of 5 from the floor.
Well, getting much better shots. Nice pass, big to big there. Noah to Horford.
Ever since Billy Donovan brought out that 4 freshmen, 1 sophomore, 5, and put these experienced players back in, it's been a different story. Now Horford comes up with the great defensive play. Hodge up ahead to Lee Humphrey, to Joakim Noah. He's fouled and will step to the free throw line for a couple. That will go against Uche Echefu. That will be his 4th, and now the Gators are playing their type of basketball.
Well, post to post, these guys can pass it to each other. How about a 6'11 dribbler, bounce pass play? Nice jump hook, creates space with the body on the defender. And Leonard Hamilton very upset at a no call down the other end. Good foul by Echefu to put Noah on the line, not to give up the easy dunk.
Noah cannot convert the front end. A 61% foul shooter. He's been to the line 44 times.
Funny rotation on Noah's foul shot. Shot well last year, not particularly well this year from the foul line.
converts 1 out of 2. But it's an 8-point game. The Seminoles' lead has been as much as 15 tonight. They have really dictated this entire contest. Reed back on the floor, the freshman out of Lauderdale Lakes, off to Tony Douglas, who's had a quiet second half. Tony with 6 points tonight. He's 3 out of 8 from the floor. And then he is falling to the floor, can't get the shot off. Now Torian Green, 3-on-1, off to Hodge. Layup is good. It's a 6-point game.
Gators right back in it, doing it on the defensive end.
Timeout, Florida State. Leonard Hamilton says, what happened, guys? We were just in front by 15. Now it's 6 with 5:12 to go.
And the Florida run gets them back in the game. They're doing it on the defensive end. Again, Noah able to dribble it out to start the fast break. And you gotta love the way Green keeps his head up, reads the defense, knows where his teammates are. Simple pass, layup for the Gators.
I can't say enough about Billy Donovan of the Florida Gators. You know, you keep hearing the term football school at Florida. Yeah, maybe it was, but you know what? Billy Donovan never let that bother him. He went out, did his job, recruited exceptionally well, has had a very consistent program last year, highlighted by that national championship run, and he is about to close in on the all-time wins list down in Gainesville, surpassing Norm Sloan, who had 235 career wins. Billy at 233.
Well, the Dean of Coaches at 41, 8 consecutive NCAA tournaments, 2 straight conference championships, and of course the national championship. Give credit to Jeremy Foley for seeing the talent in Billy Donovan when he brought him to Gainesville from Marshall 11 years ago.
Reed can't handle it. Another takeaway. Here's Hodge. Torian Green lines up a 3. Well short. That might have been partially blocked by Ritt. Douglas on the other end. Tough shot, won't go. Loose ball, Green up ahead to Hodge. Here comes Swan. Hodge's layup is good. We got ourselves a 4-point game.
And Florida very lucky. Bad shot by Torian Green. Very surprised to see him take that shot in that situation. But Florida's defense again bothers Douglas, and they get the easy basket.
It's a 7-0 run by the Gators. Al Thornton guarded by Noah. Fall away. Got it. That's your All-American candidate right there.
Wow. Thornton knows they need a hoop. He challenges Noah with a spin dribble and just lofts one over the 6'11". Noah.
3:48 to go. Humphrey back to Noah. Hodge lines up a 3. Got it! 3-point game inside the Tucker Center in Tallahassee. 3.5 to play. Timeout. Florida State. Torian Green has been a one-man show for Florida tonight.
Well, he rebounds at the pitch out. And the easy basket for Walter Hodge.
Green has done it on both ends of the floor tonight. He has, I would say, perhaps the only Gator since the opening tip to keep his level of play at the height that it needs to be successful on the road in a hostile environment.
I would agree, Dave. He's the one veteran here tonight that seemed not to be changed or in awe of their first true road game. Watch the penetration by the 6'11" Noah, the one-hand bounce pass off the dribble for the easy, good look at the basket for 3.
4 assists tonight for Joakim Noah. A couple of those have been to that man, Walter Hodge, the sophomore, with 14 points, starting tonight in place of the ill Corey Brewer.
Both teams shooting the 1-and-1. Foul shooting would be crucial down the stretch of this basketball game.
Tony Douglas with 3 on the shot clock, to the basket, tough shot, count the basket.
Well, the clock's running down, and it's becoming a prevalent play in college basketball. The flat ball screen, hard to defend. Douglas off the flat ball screen. Florida switches it this time, but it's too late for a three-point play. 64-59 Florida State. The flat ball screen. Ryan Reed comes up and sets a flat ball screen for Douglas. Douglas can go either way off this screen. Florida decides to switch it, but the smaller Douglas is able to beat the bigger Horford off the dribble, scores the hoop, and now gets to the foul line for a three-point opportunity.
How do you play that?
That is very difficult to play, Dave. I think switching is a way to go, but then the big has got to keep the little man with the ball outside and challenge an outside shot. Do not let him get to the basket. That has become a play almost every college team is now using, and they've got it from the NBA. The NBA has been using that play for a number of years.
I guess you risk a big getting a foul out on the perimeter on a little guy as well, as Douglas can't get that free throw to go down, so he won't complete the three-point play, but a 5-point game inside the Tucker Center, and we're inside 3 minutes. Torian Green high off the window. Green with 21 tonight.
Wow, the balance to keep his feet under him and then gather enough to get to the basket.
It's like a switch was flipped in the last 5 minutes for Florida. The intensity has increased threefold. Thornton spinning around Richard, able to get it to go down. 5-point Noel lead.
Horford on the bench. And now Thornton just driving the bigger Chris Richard to the basket. Great up and under, excellent footwork to create the angle for the easy layup.
30-second timeout taken by Billy Donovan in a 5-point game. Al Thornton tonight, coach, with 24 big ones, 8 rebounds.
The ability, great footwork, keeps his pivot foot down. Horford came over to double temporarily. When he left, Thornton got to the basket, created the angle, Dave, didn't explode up.
Take a look at our Dodge game summary, and Thornton leading the way with 24 points, a season high. Florida with 18 turnovers, majority of those coming in the first half of play when they had 11. And giving Florida State some 3 points, if you will.
Well, the turnovers have been the difference in this game, Dave. Both teams are shooting the 1-and-1. Possession arrow favors Florida. Both teams have 2 timeouts left.
17 fouls against Florida State, 18 fouls against the Gators. Approaching 2 minutes, and Walter Hodge saves the basketball. Joakim Noah back to Hodge. 15 on the shot clock. Here's Horford working on the freshman Reed. Florida State extending their defense. Green, tough shot. In and out. The tip in by Noah. Count the basket.
Wow, Noah set the ball screen. Florida State defended it very well. I thought Green's shot looked like it was going in. Noah, who set the screen, is able to use his quickness and get to the basket for the tip-in. How about that, Dave Neal? Sets the screen at the top of the key and tips the ball in at the basket.
Doug Sermons, one of our referees, did a nice job in spotting Al Thornton tugging on Joakim Noah's jersey. It was subtle, but Joakim Noah misses the free throw. 3-point game. 96 seconds to play in Tallahassee.
Florida State needs to take some time off the clock, see if they can isolate Thornton against Noah and have Thornton drive the ball to the basket to score or get fouled.
Here's Thornton. Jason Rich back to Thornton. Green guarding Al Thornton. Fall away is good. Al Thornton has been everything and then some tonight. Hodge in the corner, 1 minute to go. open three. Got it! It's a 2-point game. Timeout, Gators.
Florida State goes to double the post. The posts of Florida, good at reading double teams. They see doubles a lot, and the kick out by Noah. Another assist for Noah as Hodge bangs down a huge three, his 5th assist in the game for Noah. The ability to get your feet set, playing inside out. The ball goes inside and then back outside.
Let's check in with Tom Block. Tom.
Well, Dave, how about Hodge, the guy that's not normally the starter playing for Corey Brewer tonight? You know, against Kansas, his line was 11 minutes, no points. Now that he's getting more acclimated to being the 5th starter with Brewer out with the illness, he steps up and knocks home the huge three-pointer. Look at that night tonight for Walter Hodge.
17 points. Florida shooting 55%. 44% from behind the arc. Florida State at 47%. Hodge has 10 points in the last 5 minutes. Joakim Noah with 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists, despite playing with an upper respiratory infection.
Big defensive stop for the Gators. They know they're going to get the ball back. If they can hold Florida State here, they'll have possession with a chance to tie or win this basketball game. Florida State deciding to run the clock down. I look for the flat ball screen again. It's getting redundant, but I look for a flat ball screen for Douglas.
A little weave out top near center court. Shot clock approaching 10. Douglas has had to create a couple of times on the fly. He'll do it again at the free throw line. No good. Horford the rebound. Off to Torian Green. Shot clock is turned off. The Gators do have a timeout left. Green. Long three, blocked! Tony Douglas with the block, and now a foul against the Gators.
Well, they set the ball screen for Green. Originally, they couldn't get a shot. The ball gets blocked. Green gets knocked down, no call. And Billy Donovan wanted Torian Green to drive this ball to the basket to see if he could get fouled or make a pitch off the penetration.
Timeout on the floor. Back for the final 4 seconds in Tallahassee after this. The capacity crowd inside the Tucker Center, almost 13,000. They've been here before when it comes to upsetting a highly ranked opponent. Go back to January 6th of 2002. The Seminoles hosting #1 Duke. And what happened? Florida State pulls off the shocking upset in front of the country to knock off Duke 77-76. They have 4 seconds remaining here tonight inside the Tucker Center. And Al Thornton goes to the line 1-1.
Well, this next one would ice the game, Dave. If he misses, I looked for Florida to rebound the ball. They do not have any timeouts left. They would have used it if they had one. They're going to have to rebound this ball and make a pass into the front court.
And now Leonard Hamilton will use a timeout after Thornton knocks down the 2 free throws. Al Thornton, 27 points. He is 6 out of 7 from the floor for 18 points in the second half.
And wanted it when they needed clutch baskets. Give it to me. Let me take my man one-on-one. And again, Dave, doing it without a low post presence. Defenses now can key more on him because there's more low post for Florida State, with Alexander Johnson deciding to leave early for the NBA draft.
Well, for the Seminoles, they lost to Pittsburgh 88-66. Then they went and lost to Wisconsin in the ACC Big Ten Challenge 81-66. Leonard Hamilton frustrated, felt his team was capable of much more. He asked them the last 2 or 3 days in practice to show him the desire on the defensive end and show him that they knew how to play fast-paced, up-tempo basketball. We've seen all that unfold here before our eyes tonight.
And I think Leonard smart to put Reed all over the ball, making this pass difficult into the front court for Florida.
And a foul on. Is that on Horford? That will be on Al Horford trying to get the basketball. That'll be his 5th foul.
No, that actually is not a bad try by Horford, because if he could have drawn the foul, that's an obvious foul, but if he could have drawn it and gotten to the line and made 2, it would have given Florida another chance. Obvious foul by Horford, however.
Al Horford, 2 of 2 from the field, 6 rebounds, 4 points.
Well, give credit to Leonard Hamilton and his staff coming out off of 2 blowout losses on the road to come back home and beat the University of Florida here in Tallahassee.
And I think that Florida State had a chance to kind of lose composure. They led by 15. And then Florida cut it to 2. And that will do it here in Tallahassee as the Seminoles shock 4th-ranked Florida 70-66. Al Thornton was huge, 28 points to lead Florida State. The All-American candidate put on a show inside the Donald L. Tucker Center, and Florida State upsets number 4 Florida. Don't forget ACC Sunday Night Hoops, Maryland and Boston College next Sunday. So for Eddie Fogler and Tom Block, I'm Dave Neal. So long, everybody.